The plastic cup of cheap soda trembled in my hand as I pressed myself against the wall of my brother's fancy apartment. All around me, London's posh crowd clinked glasses, their designer watches flashing under the lights. I tugged at my Primark dress, feeling the loose thread near the hem. "Oi, Sarah!" My brother Mark's voice cut through the chatter. He dragged me forward by the elbow, his grip too tight. "Everyone, meet my little sis, the one who mucks about with mops all day." His banker friends snickered. One muttered, "Council house cleaner, innit?" My cheeks burned as Mark laughed. "Nah, she's proper professional, cleans offices after hours." He pinched my cheek like I was 5. "Our Sarah always was thick as pig shit, eh?" I opened my mouth, then froze. The front door swung open behind Mark. The room went dead quiet as a tall bloke in a sharp suit walked in. "Mr. Thompson, Chief Executive Officer of London Clean Co." Mark practically tripped over his own feet rushing forward. "Sir, didn't expect—" Mr. Thompson walked right past him, straight to me. "Miss Sarah Wilson," he said, loud enough for the whole room to hear. "Been chasing your agency all week. When you signing our contract? My whole board's waiting on your team to take over all our London sites." Mark's pint glass smashed on the floor. The silence was deafening, until Mr. Thompson dropped the bomb. "Oh, and the Queen Mary Hospital deal? They specifically requested your dementia care cleaning program." That's when my brother's face went purple. The sound of shattered glass echoed through the now silent flat. Every posh guest stared at me like I'd grown a second head. Mr. Thompson kept smiling, completely unaware he'd just dropped a grenade in the middle of my brother's perfect life. "Your dementia program?" Mark's voice cracked like he was 13 again. His banker friends exchanged confused looks. One whispered too loud, "Thought she just emptied bins?" Mr. Thompson chuckled, pulling out his phone. "You haven't told your family? Bloody hell, Sarah, we've got NHS trusts fighting over your training methods." He flashed his screen at the room. A news headline screamed, "Local cleaning firm revolutionizes elderly care. NHS bids £2.3 million." My brother's hand crushed my wrist. "What the fuck is this?" he hissed. That's when the doorbell rang again. 2 men in NHS uniforms stood there, holding a giant check. "Miss Wilson? We're from St. Thomas's Hospital, about your pilot program. The results are incredible." The taller one grinned. "Your team reduced patient falls by 78%. How'd you train your cleaners to spot early dementia signs?" Mark's grip went slack. His mouth opened and closed like a fish. I could see the numbers flashing behind his eyes, all those times he'd mocked my stupid cleaning job, while I'd actually been building something real. The room started buzzing. Posh blokes who'd ignored me all night suddenly wanted selfies. Then my phone rang. BBC London, asking for an interview about the cleaning lady changing healthcare. But the real kicker? My brother's boss, the one who'd just promoted him, pushed forward with a champagne bottle. "Mark, why didn't you tell us your sister was the dementia cleaning queen? We want first dibs on investing." Mark's face turned the exact shade of a Tesco value tomato. His whole life, he'd made sure everyone saw me as the family failure. Now his career depended on me. Just as I opened my mouth to answer, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Tell them no, or everyone finds out what really happened to Nan." My blood ran cold, because only 2 people knew that secret. Me, and the brother who'd just been humiliated in front of his entire world. My fingers froze mid-air as I stared at that text. The room's noise faded to a dull roar. All I could hear was my own heartbeat pounding in my ears. Mark was watching me like a hawk, sweat beading on his forehead. He knew. He'd always known. The NHS blokes were still talking, shoving paperwork at me. "Just need your signature, Miss Wilson, and the £2.3 million is yours." Someone popped champagne. The BBC reporter adjusted her mic. Then Mark lunged forward, knocking over a waiter. "Sarah, a word." He dragged me into the kitchen, his fingers digging into my arm. His breath smelled like panic and cheap whiskey. "You shut this down right now," he hissed, "or I swear to God." That's when I noticed it. the tattoo on his wrist peeking from his cuff. The same crude anchor Nan had drawn on us both when we were kids. The night she... I wrenched free. You wouldn't dare! The kitchen door swung open. Mr. Thompson stood there, phone raised. Live on BBC News, folks. The cleaning revolutionary and her brother? The camera light blinded me. Mark's smile turned vicious. He leaned in, whispering so only I could hear. Remember how Nan fell down those stairs? Who do you think they'll believe? The successful banker or the cleaning lady with everything to gain? The room waited. The NHS check hovered, the camera rolled, then the flat's smoke alarm went off. Black smoke poured from the oven. Someone screamed. In the chaos, I saw Mark sprint toward his laptop, the one with all his investment plans open. The same laptop that just got a notification from a care home in Brighton. Because here's what my brother didn't know. I visited Nan's old room last week and found her hidden diary under the floorboards. As firefighters burst in, Mark's laptop screen lit up with an email from Brighton Memorial Care Home. Regarding your grandmother's accident, our newly discovered CCTV footage may interest you. The attached thumbnail showed two figures on the staircase that night. One was Nan, the other wore Mark's school blazer. The fire alarm's shriek cut through the chaos as firefighters shoved past guests. Mark's laptop screen glowed in the smoky darkness, that damning email from Brighton Memorial flashing like a neon sign. I lunged forward and clicked the attachment before he could stop me. The CCTV footage played in grainy black and white. Nan standing at the top of the care home stairs. Mark, just 15, but already tall, handing her a glass of water. She takes one sip, then clutching her chest. Him stepping back as she stumbled, not helping. Just watching. But the real horror came in the last 3 seconds. As Nan lay motionless at the bottom, young Mark pulled something from his blazer pocket. Nan's favorite brooch, the one she'd promised to leave me. He wiped it clean of fingerprints and placed it in her stiff hand. The room gasped. The BBC camera kept rolling. Mark's face went sheet white. It's fake! She's doctored it! He spun toward me, wild-eyed. You lying little... That's when the firefighter yanked open the smoking oven. Not a fire. A burning stack of papers. The edges curled as they turned to ash, but we could still read the bold print. Last will and testament of Margaret Wilson. Mr. Thompson grabbed the fire extinguisher. Too late. Only one sentence remained unburned. To my granddaughter Sarah, I leave. The rest was ashes. Mark started laughing, a high, hysterical sound. Prove it! All you've got is a dead woman's word against mine. Then the care home manager pushed through the crowd, holding an ancient tape recorder. Actually, Mr. Wilson, your grandmother made a living will too. We found it this morning behind a loose brick. She pressed play. Nan's voice, clear as day. If I die suddenly, check my T for digoxin. And tell Sarah her brother's been stealing from me since he was 12. As police handcuffed Mark, his phone rang. The caller ID? Dr. Ahmed, pharmacy. The officer answered. The pharmacist's voice boomed. About those empty digoxin bottles you asked to delete from the system? We found the backup records. The police officer held Mark's phone to his ear as the pharmacist's voice filled the dead-silent room. We've traced 12 digoxin prescriptions under your name in 5 years, all for elderly patients, all dead within weeks. A woman in the crowd screamed. It was Mrs. Henderson from Flat 4B. Her mum had died suddenly last Christmas after Mark visited with heartburn pills. Mark thrashed against the handcuffs. Fake! They're setting me up! But the officer just scrolled through his phone, pulling up a hidden folder labeled Investments, photos, dozens of them, each showing Mark smiling beside an elderly person with their will laid out on their lap. The dates matched the prescription records exactly. Mr. Thompson stepped forward, his voice shaking. My Aunt Edie changed her will 2 days before she died, left everything to some youth charity we'd never heard of. He looked at Mark in horror. You introduced us at my office party. That's when the care home manager gasped. Wait, Margaret Wilson's will, the burnt bit. She frantically tapped her tablet. Our system backs up all visitor logs. Mr. Wilson came last Tuesday, the day before we found Sarah's cleaning proposal. The screen showed it clear as day. Mark Wilson, signed in 9:15 a.m. Reason for visit, financial consultation. I nearly vomited. He'd gone to pressure Nan about my business before she could tell me the truth. The BBC reporter's cameraman zoomed in as the officer read Mark his rights, but the real mic drop moment came when my phone buzzed with a transfer notification, £2,300,000, received from NHS London. As they dragged Mark away, he locked eyes with me and mouthed 2 words, "Check Mum." The same mum who'd been in a coma for 3 years after her accidental fall, in the same care home. The police car hadn't even pulled away when I sprinted to my bike, the NHS money notification still glowing on my phone. Mum's care home was only 8 minutes away. 8 minutes to wonder why Mark would mention her now after all these years. The night nurse recognized me immediately. "Sarah, thank God, your mum's been trying to tell us something for weeks." She rushed me to room 17. Mum lay still as always, her breathing tube hissing. But her eyes, they were wide awake and full of tears. That's when I saw it, taped to her IV drip stand, a faded photo of Nan holding 2 baby girls, except I only recognized one, me. The nurse followed my gaze. "Oh, that's sweet, your gran with you and your twin." My blood turned to ice. "I don't have a twin." Mum's finger twitched toward the call button. The nurse pressed it just as Mum's other hand jerked up, not weak like a coma patient's, but purposeful, and ripped out her breathing tube. Lucy," she croaked. "Mark took her. The night you fell." The heart monitor screamed. Doctors rushed in. But I was already running to the records office, NHS contract in hand, screaming for every file they had on Lucy Wilson. The clerk handed me a single yellowed page, not medical records, a police report, dated the night of my childhood accident, and stamped in bold red, "Suspect Mark Wilson, age 14, charge, child abduction." The care home records office felt like a freezer, my fingers leaving sweaty prints on that decades-old police report. The clerk kept talking, but her voice sounded underwater. "Never found the sister. Your parents paid hush money, changed your surname from Wilson to Harris after the incident." My eyes locked on the worst line. Victim, Lucy Wilson, age 7, was last seen being forced into black Range Rover by brother. The same model Mark bought with his first banking bonus. A hand grabbed my shoulder. The nurse from Mum's room was crying. "Sarah, come quick, your mother's speaking." Mum's hospital bed was surrounded by doctors, but she was fighting them all, her voice raw from years of silence. "Check the garage!" She clutched my hand with terrifying strength. "He kept her there first." The world tilted. Suddenly, I was 9 years old again, screaming at Mum that the garage monster pinched me at night. The nightmares I'd had for years about a girl who looked like me, trapped behind concrete walls. Police sirens wailed outside. I didn't wait. Mark's $2 million mansion had a padlocked garden shed, the kind posh people store lawn equipment in. My NHS money bought me a crowbar. The wood splintered like bone. Inside weren't any gardening tools. It was a child's bedroom. Pink wallpaper, tiny shoes lined up, a framed photo of me on the desk, except it wasn't me. The girl wore my favorite yellow dress, but her smile was all wrong. Then I saw the dates on the school books. 2018, 2020, 2022. Mark hadn't just taken Lucy, he'd kept her. A floorboard creaked behind me. I spun around, crowbar raised. The woman in the doorway was my mirror image. Same nose, same scar above the eyebrow. But her eyes were dead. "You're late," Lucy whispered. "He sold me to his boss last month." Behind her, 3 police cars skidded to a halt. Officers poured out, guns drawn. But Lucy didn't flinch. She just pressed something into my hand. Mark's burner phone, opened to a text thread with a contact named Buyer. The last message made me vomit. "Package delivered. Transfer the £500,000. P.S. The sister still doesn't know? Attached was a photo of me leaving my cleaning company office yesterday. As police arrest Mark for human trafficking, Lucy reveals the worst truth. I was next. The dementia cleaning contracts were just his way to get me into wealthy homes, where accidents happen to lonely heirs. The same way Nan died. The way Mum almost did. People ask why I still clean. It's how I spot the filth others ignore, like the brother who hid in plain sight, the system that believed his suits over my scars, and the hardest dirt to scrub away? The lies we tell ourselves about family. If this story exposed the dirt in your family tree, smash like and subscribe to Family Truths Unfold.